right, so let's get into it, shall we, ladies? We're going to start off with 7:30 p.m. Dave Campbell's Texas football tonight. On Friday night, we'll be bringing you all of the action. Myself, Ishmael Johnson, the ladies back here, and then all of our lovely students at the University of North Texas helping to bring you that. We start off in 5A Division II, Region 3. Fort Bend Marshall, the Buffaloes, taking on the Bears of Bastrop in a very interesting matchup here. So if you remember, specifically for Bastrop, district champions out of District 11 5A Division 2, they took down Liberty Hill in the last game of the regular season to claim that title. And then they went out last week, had no issues with San Antonio Lanier, took them down 66-14. On the other side of that, Fort Bend Marshall, a team that we are used to seeing contend in the playoffs here.
Yes.
They went, they're at a District 9 5A Division 2.
Very, very tough district.
Oh my God.
Must I say.
Richmond Randall went 7-0, won the district title. Iowa Colony, the second year program, 6-1. Then you've got Fort Bend Marshall, Texas
City's usually up there in the mix, you know, like they'll pull off an upset every once in a while. So that's a tough district. I mean.
So Marshall went out, just completely destroyed a very good Waco University squad, 52-14 last week. That was an impressive showing.
That shocked me because I've seen Waco U in person when they played Lampasas back in September or something. I don't remember now, but they looked very solid. That quarterback's a little young for Waco U, but I thought, and now they had London Smith back, their top wide receiver, one of the top wide receiver in his class. They had him back, and they couldn't compete with Fort Bend Marshall and the talent that Fort Bend Marshall has.
And so that's where I think this game comes down to. Fort Bend Marshall, especially under James Williams, is known for years for their speed. Their playmakers on the outside and their speed.
Yes.
Here's where this one gets interesting for me, is Bastrop has proven against a team like Liberty Hill specifically that speed isn't a problem for them. Now, I know Fort Bend Marshall likes to run the ball. They like to get it out wide too. Liberty Hill solely runs the ball. It's a slot team. But the Bastrop defense, what they were able to do in slowing down the rushing attack by Liberty Hill, makes me think that this defense could be the difference in this game.
I think so too. I also think that Fort Bend Marshall has had issues in the past just being a little undisciplined. I think there's a lot of penalties typically in a game. I think that also could make a difference too.
Yeah.
If you can take
Bastrop
advantage of those yardage, of that free yardage, Bastrop could take advantage of that very easily.
So excited to see that one out of 5A Division 2. Up next, how about we go to 6A D1 Region 3? This one, tasty. Fort Bend Ridge Point taking
another
on
Fort Bend team,
the reigning runner-up in Class 6A D1, Northshore. So Ridge Point goes out, gets the win over Pasadena Dobie, 49-16, no issues. Northshore goes up against what we were saying is a Deer Park team not to sleep on, and just romps them. 56-13. Never even a doubt that Northshore was going to take that one. For Ridge Point, it's been their senior quarterback, Austin Carlisle, who is leading the way.
He is just phenomenal. He is
in every way.
In every way. He's got the arm talent. He's got the leg talent. He's incredible.
Yeah, he's got over 2,500 yards of passing. He's got 40 touchdowns in the air.
Houston commit.
Go Cougs. Added another 8 on the ground. He's got almost 700 yards of rushing. He is the lifeblood for this Ridge Point team. Ridge Point has had some games that I think have been good level competition. I think you look at a 49-41 absolute shootout against Fulshire and go, okay, that's a really good team. Then you look at a Bridgeland team who they beat 38-21. They played Hightower in their district 30-20 or 35-20. I think that those are very good teams in the Houston area. I don't think that Ridge Point has played a team up to the caliber of Northshore, and that's what's going to decide this game. If they are able, if Northshore's defense, which has been outstanding specifically in the defensive backs and the defensive line, if they're able to neutralize Austin Carlisle, that takes away a lot. From Ridge Point.
I also think you could flip that to the other side of the ball too, and I think Ridge Point has one of the best secondary units in the entire state. If they're able to neutralize Caleb Bailey and then their top receiver Dion DeBlanc, it could kind of go the other way too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's very fascinating, but I do think that ultimately North Shore's firepower is going to outlast Ridge Point.
I think North Shore, I think it'll be a close game in the first half.
Yeah.
Hopefully into the third quarter. I think North Shore is too much of a complete team to be able
Agreed.
to put 4 quarters up against. And if you can't put full 4 quarters together, you're not going to beat North Shore.
Agreed.
Point blank. Moving on, staying in 6A Division 1, moving down from Region 3 to Region 4. Lake Travis, the Cavaliers under Hank Carter, taking on San Antonio Johnson. We know what Lake Travis is. A very, very balanced offensive attack between Shaston Ditta and Van Hopping, mixed with a defense that has been the calling card under the past 2 to 3 years of Hank Carter coached Cavaliers squad, taking on a San Antonio Johnson team that at the beginning of the year, when we heard that superstar quarterback Ty Hawkins was leaving, we were going,
I'm sad.
oh,
I miss him.
Yes, our sophomore king back in the day. Loved watching that kid play. But he left, went to IMG in Florida, and we were like, oh, this is bad news for Johnson. Well, Johnson, let me introduce you to senior running back Lauren Bubba Johnson. Dude, Bubba, he's got some stinking wheels on him.
Yeah.
Wheels. He's averaging 174 yards of rushing per game.
Yeah. No, and I don't. That's not the problem with this San Antonio Johnson team. It's the defense that I'm concerned about. They let up some points.
Yes, they will let up some points.
And Lake Travis likes to pile them on.
Yeah, and I think that typically Lake Travis wants to keep it in that like 35, like first to 35 kind of wins. I think Johnson's got the offense to keep with it. It's just, I don't know if the defense, I think the defense can stop maybe Van Hopping. I think the defense can stop maybe Shaston Ditta. You put the two of them together and I think
it's an unbreakable force,
So interested to see that one, but Johnson has the offensive firepower and Lake Travis also, like I said, they want to keep it low scoring. So if Johnson comes out of the gate and really gets going, it could be an interesting one.
Correct.
Moving on down now to 5A Division 1 Region 3. This one, tasty. Incredibly tasty. Probably one of the best games in the state this week, if you asked me.
Agreed.
Lufkin taking on College Station. So Lufkin goes and gets the big win, 63-14 over Houston Milby. No issues. College Station, 41-10 over Crosby. Crosby's been down, but it was a very good showing by College Station. They looked
Aiden Martinez-Brown, of course, keeps proving that he is one of the best running backs in the state.
He's insane.
Yeah.
He's absolutely insane. And you mix that with their quarterback, Cade Cochran, who has been just incredible for them and really gives them kind of that balanced attack because he can drop a long one on you, or Aiden Martinez-Brown can just chip and chip and chip until he finds his hole and he'll break off for a 60-yard touchdown, and then it's church and it's game over. That being said, this is a really, really outstanding defensive line for Lufkin.
Yes.
That's where all my eyes go, is how does the College Station offense handle a just grueling task up front in the trenches between Zion Williams,
LSU commit,
and Elijah Alexander. Those guys are incredible. Not to mention, I mean, this Lufkin squad has relied on their defense because their defense is outstanding in every single position. But those two guys on the edge, seeing how much pressure that Elijah Alexander and Zion Williams can put on Cade Cochran and then be able to stop Aiden Martinez-Brown in the backfield.
That's the key right there. That is the key.
If they can do that, Lufkin can win this ball game.
Yeah, and it's going to be very low scoring.
Yes. Oh yeah, it's going to be an all-out affair.
Very, very low scoring. But I completely agree. If you can stop Aiden Martinez-Brown from getting to the end zone, you can do it. You can do it.
That one, that's the one that I am very, very, very excited for.
Agreed.
Super excited for, and just another really treacherous path
Region
here for both of
3
these teams.
is ridiculous. Lufkin, College Station, throw in Port Arthur Memorial in the mix. Angleton's looked pretty good. LaPorte, Barbers Hill, A&M Consolidated, Galveston Ball. I just went straight down the line.
Yep.
That's a crazy well,
because who did Angleton beat last week? Weiss?
Pflugerville Weiss,
which was
a really
crazy.
tough Pflugerville Weiss squad who's loaded with talent.
Which is what we said in that finale. You do not want to lose that game because then the loser had to make the trip down to Angleton, and they did not want that. And Weiss felt the effect of that.
100%.
All right. To 4A Division 2 Region 3 we go in a very interesting cross-regional matchup between the Waco La Vega Pirates and the West Orange Stark Mustangs. Tale of two programs here. West Orange Stark is back, guys. Hiawatha Hickman got hired. He got promoted after Cornell Thompson left West Orange Stark after his incredible career. It was rough going for a couple of years there. They had some really high points and they had some low points. West Orange Stark looks like a program that is back into the West Orange Stark kind of bludgeon that we have seen them be in the past. On the other side of this, snip, snap, snip, snap. Here comes Waco La Vega. They give me heartburn. Don Hyde gives me heartburn.
The time.
I hope he sees that. Love you, Coach Hyde. But I never know what to make of this team. But I can tell you from the past 2 or 3 weeks, Don Hyde's team the machine is online.
It is. And they had kind of a slow start. They've got 3 losses on the year. 1 to Salina, which is understandable. 1 to Stephenville. That was only a 10-point game. And their only other loss on the year was to West Orange Stark in pre-district, 35-27. So it was already a good game.
Yeah. So the rematch, it's hard to breed a good team twice.
I was about to say that.
It's that time of year where that becomes our favorite phrase in the world. Cannot wait to see the rematch on this one. I think the difference that you're seeing right now between the La Vega squad is that Bryson Rowland has really kicked it into gear at their running back spot.
And that's what I was going to say with this La Vega team. I think that just sheer talent on this La Vega squad wins out.
Yeah. So that one's going to be fun.
Tasty.
I'm very excited for that
Very
one.
fun.
And then we round it all out with 6A D2 Region 2. And it is Willis taking on Tomball.
You're probably thinking like, okay.
Interesting. We know what Willis is.
Yes. No question about that. They've been on the map for the past couple of years with DJ Lagway, now Jermaine Bishop.
Jermaine Bishop has looked great. Jack Emerson has looked fantastic. I mean, truly fantastic. It is darn near impossible to stop the connection between him and Jermaine Bishop. Tomball. You'll remember in 2019, Tomball made their way all the way to a state semifinal. So this was a Tomball team that was their first time that they had ever really, really kind of been on the radar. Dave Handel has this team running again. They have had some very good wins. Here's what I can tell you. This is a team that likes to score. It is a defense that worries me a little bit.
Yes.
I am concerned
and that is not
about the defense against Willis.
That is not
Point
the concern
blank.
you want to have. Is if you're concerned about your defense when you're going up against a very strong offense in Willis, when you've got playmakers all over the field, it's a little concerning, I would say. And I don't think Tomball's resume is super glowing compared to Willis's resume. Their only loss was to Klein Kane. But that's a game that did not age very well.
Yeah, at the time we thought it didn't necessarily age well.
Yeah.
I think that this is a Tomball team, though, that will play to their competition,
Correct.
which is great and bad in the playoffs. In this specific case, I think it's a good thing because I think that they will try to play up to Willis's standard. Worry a little bit about that, but interested to see this one.
Yes.
So there you go. Our 6 spotlight games for Dave Campbell's Texas football tonight. Our final one of the season. So do not miss out on it as we go. And of course, we'll be highlighting a ton of other area rounds and highlights throughout the show.
Yes.
Talking about players, looking at brackets, breaking down regions. The Texas football tonight during the playoffs is when the fun really gets started. So excited for that one. We hope you'll join us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and TexanLive.com on 7:30 p.m. on Friday.
Can I tell you one of my favorite things about that show?
Yeah.
It's very random, but it's one of my favorite things. It's when you, no offense to Tepper, but it's when you and Ish are at the power.
All the offense to Tepper.
At the power zone. This has nothing to do with Tepper not being there. My favorite part of the show is when I am just locked in scrolling through Twitter and I'm just blasting you and Ish with different scores across the state. I mean, I'm like locked in. I'm like, V, you take the reins here. I'm going to get locked in right here. And I'm about to fully send you a ton of scores that
Yes.
are super interesting. That's my favorite part of the show, and I'm really sad that it's not going to happen.
Yes, that is
anymore.
also my favorite part of the show.
Can I do that over Thanksgiving break? Can I just like spam you with different
Yeah.
scores?
I'm gonna be locked in, so let's go.
Okay.
Like I'm all in on
We'll
that.
pretend it's Texas football tonight.
Correct. From my living room.
Correct.
All right, so we hope that you will join us at 7:30 p.m. One more thing to do before we roll some ads, and then we're going to get into our playoff pandemonium. You're not going to want to go anywhere, but we want to highlight our Kendra Scott partnership here with Women Talking Football. It's time to shine a light on the amazing spirit teams of Texas, the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Spirit Team Spotlight Award, presented by Kendra Scott. We will recognize 10 spirit teams across the Lone Star State for their tireless dedication, electrifying energy, and unyielding spirit that rallies players, fans, and parents alike. This season, we celebrate 3 more of our standout winners: Crowley High School, North Crowley High School, and Denton Geyer High School. Congratulations to these phenomenal teams that keep spirit alive and continue to inspire. Visit texasfootball.com to learn more about our Spirit Team Spotlight Awards. Appreciate Kendra Scott taking the time to recognize those spirit teams here on WTF.
We love Kendra Scott.
We sure do. We actually really do.
Yeah, we have. A lot of my stuff's from Kendra Scott. My ring right now that I am wearing is Kendra Scott.
How about that? My bracelet
Yes, your bracelet
is
is Kendra Scott.
Don't you have a football
Yes,
necklace?
I have
Oh,
a
you have the
football
football
necklace.
necklace.
And then we both have mean green
Yeah, they came out with their
necklaces.
college colors one.
Yeah, that was awesome.